Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are working with plumeria seeds, like so. Plumeria seeds are a little winged seed of a very beautiful tropical tree. I'm going to be growing some today, and I wanted to show you how I get them started. I found this way really works well. I just call it the paper towel method, because you put them inside a paper towel, and basically what it does is you're able to see if the seeds are viable or not within a day or so. These ones here that are in front of me are actually seeds I've already taken out that I received with my seed order that just simply weren't viable. They did one of two things. They just, you can see when they're wet after about 24 to 48 hours of being in the humid Ziploc bag that I'll show you in a sec, that they just kind of go transparent. Or if they're actually like seriously dead, what looks like it's hard when it's dry like this actually just mushes apart with black mush, and you can tell within a day or so that they're not viable, and you can take these ones out so you're not wasting your time planting stuff that is not viable. So I'm going to throw those back down there. This is how I do them up. They do stain a little bit, the shells, the husks, whatever they are, and then we put them in here. I put them on top of a nice warm grow light, and they started germinating within 5 days. Every day I would check and remove the ones that weren't viable. I lost probably 25%. But yeah, I opened them up together and actually started working without you. I'm sorry. And then I thought this is going to be a good video for you. I got my pot here. The potting media is about 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 bagged Miracle-Gro gardening soil, and about 1/3 perlite. And then on top I just did a thin layer of peat moss just for good ground contact or surface contact, and I actually started laying them out already. So these guys have been in here maybe a week, maybe a tiny bit more. Time has been really going fast, but look at how they have germinated inside the paper towel. So we can totally tell that that one is viable. If you can, and you have delicate fingers, you can remove some of this outer husk a little bit more. If you can't, or you don't have delicate fingers, don't try it. But that is how I'm going to plant them. I have my little planting tool, which is a spoon, and I'm just going to make a little V-shaped nook and get the root in there very gently. I did not pack down this soil ahead of time. It's light and fluffy. I'm going to let it pack down itself. And so there is one planted in there. Maybe I'll try to give you a better view if I can. Slightly better view. I'll adjust the tripod there. There we go. So let's have a look at this paper towel here. So you can see how they've germinated. Even some ugly ones that you didn't even think were going to be viable have germinated. And I have 2 bags like this. So I decided once the roots were starting to get a little bit fuzzy, they were looking for some media. I didn't want them to be growing to the paper towel. And the next step would be them growing to the paper towel. Like this one is stuck to the paper towel. I'll have to operate on this guy right here. But if we look, here's a non-viable one. It was in the paper towel, and so it would have looked pretty much the same going in, but you can tell A, because it's fuzzy, and B, because it's just mush. It's black, it's mushy. So we can separate out the non-viable seed. I'm going to wipe my fingers off here on a moist paper towel on the side, and yeah, I'm going to plant these guys up just like I showed you. I might delicately remove some of the husks if possible, whatever you call these, the little outside edges. It just slows them down from germinating or from growing further. So you can see there I've just removed that, and now we have just the plumeria itself. If not, you're just going to want to keep them nice and humid so that that shell will come off on its own. And I'm just using the back end of a little spoon to plant them like that. And I'm going to go ahead and plant the rest of them. But what we'll do is let's open up the other one together too. Let's see how we did. I know I do have some germination, but it has been a couple of days since I've looked in here. I meant to do this video and get these things planted yesterday. But let's see how we did on this one. What do we have here? Let's see. Some are coming along really nicely, and I see some aren't viable. Let's see. I just got to figure out how I open this properly and delicately so I don't break any roots. Here we go. So, can you see that? 1 And look at this guy. This one's ugly. Like, it's kind of got like a back end that's fugly, but if you remove it, ta-da, that one is still, I'll plant that one up. In fact, I'll plant that one up right now. It's really ugly on the back end, but it should still grow. Excuse my hand, I'm just going to put it in. It definitely took a little bit longer to germinate. It's having some issues, but we might as well give it a chance. Here's another one that simply is just not viable. It looked like it came close. It's white in there, but it's got like a fungusy mold on it, so we're just going to get rid of that one too. Put it somewhere where it won't get confused with the ones below. Here's another one off to the side. It's quite fungusy and it's soft. Like, it's just mush. So not viable. I forget how many seeds I actually got, but I mean, it's not a bad turnout. Here's one that hasn't done anything yet. So you can see this is the full shape of the seed. Sorry about the shadowing in here. Like I say, this is my first time really filming in here, and the grow lights have a horrible purple tinge, so I've actually had to turn them off and use another light. It's not horrible for the plants. It's full spectrum. It's just horrible for filming. So if I pull this off, can't quite get it, but I can see through where it's getting kind of clear on the end that I think this one is viable. It's just slow to get growing. At this point I am going to plant it though, because I'm not coming back to these little bags. But I'll give it a helping hand by removing as much of this husk as I can, and then I'll plant that. If you are planting them straight in and not germinating them first, these guys have a wing on them. This one doesn't have much of a wing. You want to plant them in the soil with the heavy end down and the wing facing up, like so that the root will go into the soil and not plant them upside down. Good example of the wing. So if this one wasn't germinated, I would be planting this whoosh, straight in that way with the wing pointing upwards. But yeah, what a way to tell if they're viable or not. And look at that. They're fairly, as long as you don't have a totally heavy hand, they're fairly sturdy. Like I say, I'm not really compressing the soil. It's light and fluffy. I'll mist it down and give it some watering that way. But I'm going to go ahead and plant the rest of these, and then I'll show you the finished product at the end. But I think I have discovered a really great way, not that I've discovered it, but I think this way that I tried was a really great way to check and see if your plumeria seeds are viable. And they germinated super fast. Like I say, it's been like a week. And I thought these things were like super old seeds that weren't going to grow at all. So yeah, I'm totally happy with the way this paper towel method worked. And look at that, there's another one there. Put that guy in. And of course, this isn't going to work for very long, because there's going to be a lot of little trees growing in this. But I wanted something big and deep so their roots can go deep to start with. I think that's very important. So anyways, let me finish this up and then we'll check back at the end. Depending on the shape of the root is depending on the way my hole is going to go as well. You can see on a large amount of them I was able to get the husk fully off. This one's pretty tiny. I'm just going to make a tiny little hole for it. The white will quickly turn green with chlorophyll now that it's going to be receiving proper light. Alright, last one here. Quite a big root on it. And then we'll finish up together. So this method is probably not going to be the best method if you have hundreds of these seeds. But if you're just a hobbyist like me and you have 24 of them and you want to get the best germination rate, I think this is a great way to get them started. I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 18, and I think I got about 24 altogether, so about 75%. So not bad. Now I will give it a good spray, slowly spraying them down. Get the lights back on because I had to turn the light off above us. I'm still using all the JCB or JC Bright W lights. So far this grow room now, which you haven't even had a tour of, has 4 of those JCBW Bright, or JCB Right, however you say that, lights. And I owe you guys another video on my thoughts on them. So it's been a few weeks now, and I think my next video down here will definitely be an actual review on the lights themselves. I can show you how they're doing. Looking around, I can see some good results, and I've had my test meters down here and gotten some interesting results that way. And yeah, so far I'm relatively happy with them actually. But let's let these guys grow under there too, and when I do my review, let's say in a week's time, then you can see these guys now and you'll see them again in a week, and we can judge how they're doing together as well. So anyways, if you like this video and you want to see updates on this and everything else, make sure you subscribe to my channel. As always, thanks for watching.